Hello, everyone. Today's episode of ChatGPT versus Immigration Lawyer is going to tackle the questions surrounding traveling with H-1B status when you have an extension of status pending. This is a kind of a complicated scenario, and let's see if ChatGPT can tackle it. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, let me get this window out of the way. There we go. So I've already queued up the question. I have H-1B status until July 10th, 2023, which is about 2 months from when I'm doing this video. I have filed for extension of H-1B status, but I don't have an approval yet. Can I travel? So ChatGPT first kind of tackles the initial issue, which is, do I have a valid visa? Because remember, just because you have an extension or currently have status in the US, doesn't necessarily mean you have that visa, that corresponding visa. The visa is what I call the knock on the door document. So as soon as you go outside of the US, even if you did have H-1B status, you still have to go to the consulate and get a visa or visa stamp, as they are called sometimes, to be able to come back into the US. And that'll usually match kind of the H-1B petition approval you had previously. So it talks about that first, do you have a valid visa? If you don't have a valid visa, you're gonna have to go to the consulate and get that visa. It also gives you kind of a generic warning about, hey, there's always risk when you go and get or go and apply for a visa. You could be placed in administrative processing. You could have delays. So let me narrow it down. So I asked the following question. I do have a valid visa. Can I travel even though my extension is pending? My visa is valid till July. So I try to narrow ChatGPT into the exact issue. And now it does a little bit better job, and it says you are allowed to travel. The critical question and answer is, can I travel and for how long? The answer being you can travel while your current status or your last petition approval date, you're still within that date, and that corresponds to your visa validity date. So I can travel until July, but I couldn't travel after July because at that point, I no longer have a petition approval. And I'm still waiting for my extension to be approved. ChatGPT does a pretty good job of this, and here's the critical answer, in my opinion. If you have filed for extension of your H-1B status and your current status will expire before you return, you may encounter some issues. So there is the nugget where it says, if your current status has expired, you really shouldn't be traveling beyond that while your extension of status is pending. I think that warning's not strong enough. It should say, no, you can only travel kind of close to the date of your current status expiring. And really, you don't want to be too close to that date because you could get a difficult officer saying, I know you only have a month left of your current H-1B status. I know you have an extension of status pending. I want you to wait abroad for that to be approved, because who knows, maybe it won't be approved. Hopefully that wouldn't happen, and they would allow you to come back into the country as long as you're within your initial period. But that can be risky. Overall, ChatGPT did a pretty good job when I narrowed it down. I'd give it about a 7 or 8 out of 10. What I am encountering with ChatGPT, though, is you have to have a pretty high level of knowledge and ask the right questions to get a precise answer. You can get pretty good answers a lot of times, but the paradox is you have to have a fair amount of knowledge. Obviously, I'm an immigration lawyer, so I can really narrow it down and ask the right questions. H-1B individuals with H-1B status are usually pretty sophisticated, so they might be able to use ChatGPT pretty effectively. For other clients who may not have as much knowledge about the process, I'm starting to wonder whether they can narrow ChatGPT down enough to get the right answers, but it certainly is powerful. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope to do some more of these videos soon.